Hi, my name is Danielle Weimerskirch, and this is my curriculum analysis for my master's course at Franciscan University of Steubenville. Throughout this presentation, I will be examining the Ohio's new learning standards in English language arts. I will be looking at the foundation, organization, content, assessment, and I will be creating a critique of the material. To begin, the content standards are worked by the Council of Chief State School Officers, or the CCSSO, and National Governors Association, NGA. The standards are based on a variety of areas which include international models, State Department of Education, scholars, assessment developers, professional organizations, educators at all levels, parents, students, and members of the community. While working through the design, CCSSO and NGA completed extensive research and received feedback numerous times throughout the time they were creating these standards. The standards represent a synthesis of the basic elements of standards-related work. Standards were only included in the state standards when it was considered that its mastery was necessary and essential to college and career readiness. The standards are considered research-based, evidence-based, are aligned with college, technical school, and work expectations, create a rigorous and challenging environment, and are internationally benchmarked. The purpose of the Ohio ELA standards is to create grade-specific K-12 standards in reading, writing, speaking, listening, and language to translate the broad aims of the college and career readiness standards into age and attainment appropriate terms, as outlined by the ONLS ELA on page 3. The standards are not only created for English language arts, but all areas of study in school. Just as students must learn a wide range of skills to become career and college ready, standards must be included in school in order for them to be prepared to be college and career ready. The K-12 grade-specific standards define end-of-year expectations and a cumulative progression designed to enable students to meet college and career readiness expectations no later than the end of high school. Therefore, the main purpose and focus of the new learning standards is to challenge students and prepare them for their college and career futures, so that they are prepared to enter the world after graduating high school. The organization of the English language standards are separated into 4 categories. Grades K through 8 standards are separated by each individual grade. When students hit high school, they are separated into 2-year sections or bands, which allows for high school students to have flexibility in content and classes offered to them. Within the strands, teachers are provided with a large amount of flexibility. The standards are meant to be used as a guideline. Teachers are not told what to use to teach the content. They are free to use any material to teach as long as the students are able to achieve completion of all standards by the end of the year. However, supplemental material is provided for teachers to utilize if they would choose to. Even though the strands are separated into 4 broad categories, they can interchange with each other. For example, the one strand may say to write about a poem or text that was read by the student, which will combine the writing and reading strands. Reading, writing, speaking, listening, and language are a shared responsibility within the schools. The K-12 standards include expectations for reading, writing, speaking, listening, and language to be used in a variety of subject areas. The grades 6 through 12 standards are divided into 2 sections, one for English language learner, English language arts, and the other for history, social studies, science, and technical subjects. This is because if students attend college, they will be required to read a variety of informational texts and complete writing assignments on these texts. Therefore, by incorporating these strands into all areas of study at a young age, students are going to have a broad range of skills that they will be able to use to be successful in college and the workforce. The standards within the Ohio Learning Standards align with the Common Core State Standards, as well as the skills of the 21st century learner. Within the standards, students are expected to be able to incorporate their prior knowledge on a topic, comprehend new knowledge on a topic, and apply the knowledge into work completed in the class and homework to show they are comprehending the information, which can be completed in a variety of ways. This connects to the 21st century style of learning because students are required to have a higher level of thinking. As outlined on page 7 of the ONLSELA document, students that are able to meet these standards are thinking at a higher, more complex level. They are demonstrating more independence, they are building stronger bonds between different content areas and building bridges to combine knowledge from a variety of areas. They are more open-minded and understand that others may have different perspectives, and then they begin to respect these differences. And finally, they are able to use a variety of different technology and media to complete tasks inside and outside of school. Within the English Language Arts Standards, the Common Core Standards demonstrate 6 key shifts within their strands. They require students to be able to practice with a variety of complex nonfiction texts while being able to provide complex evidence to support a position within the text. With this, students are again expected to begin thinking at higher levels in order to connect texts together to recognize their similarities and differences. They are also developing a more complex vocabulary because of the text they are reading and are learning to present information using different sources where they are able to support their opinion with these sources. Previously, Ohio used the PARCC and Smarter Balance assessment to determine student learning in the state. This year, Ohio decided to try something new. They invited out all teachers from all over the state to take part in creating a new state test for the state. According to the Board of Education website, all English and math teachers in the state were invited to take part. Of these teachers, 1,400 responded. Their main role is to provide feedback about student performance and to help guide the future of teaching strategies. In addition to providing valuable feedback, 320 teachers were chosen from a variety of areas and with a variety of backgrounds, and were selected to be part of a review committee. Their focus is to help select questions to complete a total of 18 tests in English, language arts, and math. From here, an advisory committee is then used to review specific tests. They are broken up into groups and given a specific subject area and specific grade level to review. They are required to answer 3 questions while completing their review. Does the item measure a content standard? Is the material suitable and appropriate for the subject area and grade level? Is the item accurate? Once all tests are reviewed and approved, they are placed into online and paper testing platforms. From here, more than 100 Ohio teachers and content experts on a standard-setting committee will make recommendations to the Board of Education and will then design the scores for the 5 performance levels for the student test results. Others can get involved by viewing the Board of Education website and attending meetings for different committees involved. The state testing development is an extensive and ongoing process. Although the work is extensive and tedious, teachers are able to provide their input on what they think is appropriate for testing. Therefore, they are no longer teaching to the test that does not show student performance in an adequate way. They are teaching to a test that shows student knowledge on the standards that are meant to be covered that way in an appropriate way. Since the test is a new process, this has not been completed in the state yet. There is no evidence available to show the impact, whether it be positive, negative, or whether it is the same effect as other tests that have been given. Therefore, it will not be known till the test is taken and reviewed for this current school year, the kind of impact it has on student progress and learning. The Ohio New Learning Standards have within them 4 anchor standards for grades K through 5 that align with college and career readiness. These anchor standards outline what students should know by the end of each year and skills that these students should be able to demonstrate and utilize in everyday life activities. The ideas and details require the students to make logistical inferences about text they are reading and determine and summarize parts of the text and analyze interactions throughout the text. Within the craft and structure anchor, students should be able to interpret and analyze the text in depth and compare the point of view to the writing within the text. The integration of knowledge and ideas section challenges students to be able to evaluate text using a variety of different formats and medias. support their argument and point of view, and analyze similarities between two or more texts. The final anchor, which is range of reading and level of text complexity, asks the students to be able to read and comprehend text without assistance and support their point of view independently without any prompting. While looking through the standards, I noticed that many standards covered in multiple grades. With further research, I was able to determine that this was done to ensure mastery on the subject matter, and that the repetition on certain subject matters is necessary for students to gain mastery on those topics. I will discuss this more in detail in a couple of more slides. The new Ohio Learning Standards coincide with Bloom's taxonomy. The standards require students to use a higher level of thinking than they may normally be used to using. Students should be able to take prior knowledge, combine it with new comprehended knowledge, apply them together, analyze the information, use prior knowledge and new knowledge combined to create new ideas, and evaluate this new knowledge used by comparing ideas and thoughts. The higher level of thinking requires students to be able to begin problem solving at a younger age, as well as recognize that others may have different ideas and opinions, and that even if their opinion is different than ours, they should still respect their thoughts and be able to compare the two ideas against each other to see the differences, similarities, and pros and cons of all. Let's take a look at a few standards to observe the similarities and differences between them. Here's an outline of 3 of the 4 anchor strands for reading in grades K through 2. In kindergarten, under key ideas and details, students are expected to answer questions about key details in a story, retell the story, and identify parts of the story with prompting. When they move to 1st grade, they are asked to answer questions about key details in a text, retell stories, and describe parts of the story without any prompting. Then, in 2nd grade, they should be able to continue doing the same concepts as described in grade 1, except this time they should be able to answer who, what, where, when, why, and how questions, and retell stories that are more complex. The standards move in this form throughout all grades. It is necessary because all skills are building on themselves, similar to a scaffolding method. Students are to do something with teacher prompting. They then move to being able to do those same concepts in the next grade without prompting. They are then to continue those same concepts and add more difficult thinking while doing so throughout the grades. By building on concepts throughout the school, students are able to fully master concepts and gain a better understanding of the information throughout their years in school, creating career and college-ready students that are able to succeed independently as they move through school. The Ohio New Learning Standards allow for students to become career and college ready. As I have stated throughout this presentation, the standards are based on the Common Core standards. They are evidence and research-based standards and create a rigorous and challenging yet positive learning environment that asks students to conduct a higher level of thinking as they complete their work and master these skills. Their state test is a new test and has not been taken in the state yet. However, it is created by teachers in the state and based on standards that are taught by the teachers. This level of thinking and progress of standards, I believe, does allow students to be able to become career and college ready, and is a successful way of working through schooling.